In the quiet suburban enclave of New Haven, where manicured lawns kiss the edges of innovation and academia, the Turner household buzzed with a peculiar energy uncommon to the neighborhood's serene evenings. Inside, the basement transformed into a sanctuary of science and dreams where Alex and Brian Turner, two brothers bound by blood and an insatiable quest for discovery, embarked on an endeavor that would transcend the ordinary confines of their world. Alex, the elder at 17, possessed a mind that danced on the edge of genius and madness, his ideas often too grandiose for the mundane reality of high school science. Brian, 15, served as the keel to Alex's sail, grounding his brother's ambitions with a pragmatism that belied his years. Together they were an unstoppable force, complementing each other's strengths and weaknesses in a symbiotic quest for knowledge. The science fair was a mere 3 weeks away, and the brothers had set their sights not on mere victory, but on revolutionizing how the world viewed science. Their project, a device they playfully dubbed the portal gun, was inspired by the countless sci-fi novels and comics that littered their shared bedroom. Unlike the fictional creations that fueled their imagination, their portal gun was intended to be a beacon of real-world innovation, a bridge to the unseen, untapped dimensions of science. The basement was a chaotic symphony of soldering irons, circuit boards, and the soft glow of computer screens. Blueprints adorned the walls like tapestries of ambition, each one a testament to the brothers' dedication. The portal gun, in its embryonic stage, resembled less a weapon of interdimensional travel, and more a testament to the Turner brothers' resourcefulness. Parts scavenged from old electronics, garage sales, and even the occasional dumpster dive came together in a device that was as much art as it was science. Alex, with soldering iron in hand, worked with the precision of a surgeon, attaching a capacitor to the main circuit board. Brian, meanwhile, pored over the complex algorithms on the laptop, the code that would theoretically power their creation. Theoretical was the operative word. The science behind the portal gun was a patchwork of quantum physics, theoretical mechanics, and more than a sprinkle of wishful thinking. "Think about it, Bree," Alex said, his voice a mix of excitement and concentration. "If this works, we're not just winning the science fair, we're rewriting the rules of reality." Brian looked up from the screen, his expression a blend of admiration and skepticism. "Let's just focus on getting it to turn on without blowing a fuse," he replied, the ever-practical counterpart to Alex's dreams. The night wore on, the only sound in the basement, the occasional clink of tools, and the soft hum of electronics. As dawn painted the sky with strokes of pink and orange, the brothers stepped back to admire their work. The portal gun, now fully assembled, sat on the workbench, a beacon of their dedication and dreams. "We'll test it tomorrow," Alex declared, a mix of exhaustion and anticipation in his voice. "Tonight we rest. Heroes need their sleep too." Brian nodded, a smile creeping across his face. "To the science fair and beyond," he echoed, the weight of their undertaking settling in. As they ascended the stairs to the world above, neither brother could have imagined the journey on which they were about to embark. The science fair dream was only the beginning, a prelude to an adventure that would challenge the very fabric of their reality, thrusting them into the heart of the Zombieverse, where science and survival would become indistinguishably intertwined. The dawn of the next day brought with it a sense of anticipation that filled the Turner household, an electric current of excitement that seemed to hum through the very walls. After a night of restless dreams where portals and parallel universes danced behind their eyelids, Alex and Brian descended into the basement, their sanctuary of invention, where the portal gun awaited them, silent and enigmatic on the workbench. The morning sun, filtering through the small basement window, did little to dispel the shadows that clung to the corners of the room, as if reality itself hesitated at the threshold of their impending experiment. The brothers stood before their creation, the weight of the moment settling upon their shoulders. Today they would test the portal gun, a device born of ambition and perhaps a touch of youthful naivety. Alex, with a solemnity uncharacteristic of his usual buoyant demeanor, turned to Brian. "You ready for this?" he asked, his voice steady, betraying none of the tumultuous mix of hope and fear that churned within him. Brian nodded, his response a silent echo of his brother's resolve. "Let's do it." The portal gun, constructed of scavenged parts and daring dreams, lay inert between them. Its design was more utilitarian than elegant, a stark contrast to the sleek weapons of science fiction lore. Wires protruded from its chassis, connecting it to the laptop that served as its brain. the screen filled with lines of code that Brian had meticulously crafted. Alex reached out, his hand hovering over the switch that would breathe life into their creation. This was it, the moment of truth. With a glance at Brian, a silent communication that spoke volumes of their bond, he flipped the switch. The effect was immediate and startling. The portal gun vibrated violently on the workbench, a whining crescendo of power that filled the room. The air around it shimmered, as if the fabric of reality itself was being twisted, distorted by the forces they had unleashed. Brian, eyes wide with a mixture of awe and apprehension, watched as the portal gun's barrel emitted a burst of light, a radiant beacon that pierced the shadows of the basement. And then, as suddenly as it had begun, the light vanished, leaving behind a pulsating orb of energy, a window to another world that hung in the air before them. The brothers approached the orb cautiously, the air around it humming with unseen energy. Through the translucent surface of the portal they could see glimpses of another place, a world that was unmistakably not their own. "We did it!" Alex breathed, a note of disbelief in his voice. "We actually did it!" But their celebration was short-lived. Without warning, the portal pulsed, a violent surge of energy that pulled at them, a gravitational force too strong to resist. In an instant, the basement, the science fair, their very world was ripped away, replaced by the unknown. They tumbled through the vortex, a maelstrom of light and shadow, until suddenly the chaos ceased, and they were deposited unceremoniously onto solid ground. The air was thick with a fetid odor, and the sky above was a dull, lifeless gray. As they regained their bearings, the reality of their situation dawned on them. They were no longer in New Haven, they were somewhere else, somewhere alien, and as the sound of distant moans carried on the stale air, a chilling realization settled in their hearts. They had not just bridged the gap between dimensions, they had plunged into the heart of the Zombieverse, a world far removed from the safety of their basement lab. The adventure they had dreamed of was about to become a fight for survival as the brothers faced the unknown horrors of this new world, armed with nothing but their wits, their portal gun, and an unbreakable bond that would be tested in the trials to come. The world into which Alex and Brian had inadvertently stumbled bore the scars of apocalypse. Buildings, once symbols of a thriving civilization, now stood as decaying husks, their windows like hollow eyes gazing upon a desolate cityscape. The air was heavy with silence, a silence that was broken only by the distant haunting moans that seemed to echo from every direction. Standing amidst the ruins, the brothers clung to the portal gun, now their only lifeline, its significance magnified beyond its original purpose. It was no longer a mere project for the science fair, it was their hope of returning home, their beacon through the darkness of the Zombieverse. As they navigated the desolate streets, the source of the eerie moans became apparent. Zombies, their forms a grotesque parody of humanity, roamed the landscape, driven by an insatiable hunger for the living. The brothers' initial shock quickly turned to horror as a group of the undead noticed them, their groans intensifying as they began a shambling pursuit. Alex and Brian ran, their hearts pounding with fear and adrenaline. They darted through the ruins, the portal gun clutched tightly between them, a desperate plan forming in their minds. They needed to find a safe place, a moment of respite to gather their thoughts and plan their next move. Their flight led them to a fortified compound, its walls a patchwork of metal and stone, a testament to the survivors' determination to hold back the tide of death. The gate was barred, but their cries for help were heard, and after a tense moment, the gates creaked open just enough to allow them entry before slamming shut once more. Inside, they were met with wary eyes, the survivors gathered within this sanctuary eyeing the newcomers with a mix of curiosity and suspicion. Alex and Brian, out of breath and overwhelmed by their sudden shift from science fair contestants to survivors in a zombie apocalypse, tried to explain their presence. "We're not from here," Alex began, his voice tinged with urgency. We came through a portal. From another world." Skepticism met his claim, but the portal gun, an object so clearly out of place in this world of ruin and desperation, lent credence to their story. The survivors, led by a woman named Mara, who had emerged as a leader in this bastion of humanity, listened as the brothers shared their tale. Mara, her face marked by the trials of survival but her eyes alight with a spark of hope, nodded slowly. "If what you say is true, then maybe you're the miracle we've been praying for. But right now, you need to learn how to survive in this world. We'll help you, teach you what we know." The days that followed were a blur of activity. Alex and Brian learned to defend themselves, to fight not just for their own survival but for the survival of their newfound allies. They adapted, their scientific minds finding new ways to improve the compound's defenses, to outsmart the hordes that lurked beyond the walls. But the portal gun remained at the forefront of their thoughts. It was their hope for escape, their mission to find the origin universe and recalibrate the device to take them home. Yet, as they grew closer to the survivors, as they fought and bled for each other, the question of leaving became more complex. They had become a part of something here, a community fighting against the darkness. One night, as they pondered their situation, the compound came under attack, a horde of zombies assaulting the walls with relentless fury. Alex and Brian, alongside Mara and the other survivors, mounted a desperate defense. It was during this battle, amidst the chaos and the carnage, that the brothers proved their worth, their inventions and strategies turning the tide in their favor. As dawn broke, the survivors emerged victorious, the ground outside the compound littered with the fallen undead. It was a moment of triumph, but for Alex and Brian it was a stark reminder of the dangers of the Zombieverse. They had survived, but their journey was far from over. The portal gun, their ticket home, was also a beacon of hope for the survivors, a promise of a way out, a way to a better world. As they prepared for the next phase of their journey, to delve deeper into the mysteries of the Zombieverse in search of the origin universe, Alex and Brian realized that their adventure was about more than just survival. It was about hope, about fighting for a future, not just for themselves but for all those they had come to care about in this world of shadows and death. The victory at the compound, while uplifting, served as a sobering reminder to Alex and Brian Turner that their sojourn in the Zombieverse was far from a simple quest for survival. The portal gun, their accidental creation turned key to multiversal travel, now symbolized a beacon of hope, not only for their return home, but potentially for the salvation of others trapped in this apocalyptic reality. Under the tutelage of Mara and the other survivors, the brothers had honed their survival skills, but the true challenge lay ahead. Mastering the portal gun to navigate the multiverse maze. The objective was clear: find the origin universe, the linchpin in their quest to recalibrate the portal gun, and chart a course back to their home universe. The task was daunting, the stakes immeasurable. Their first foray into the multiverse underlined the unpredictable nature of their journey. With the portal gun recalibrated for a short jump, they aimed to test its precision and control. The brothers, alongside Mara, who had insisted on accompanying them, braced themselves as Alex activated the device. A portal tore open in the fabric of their reality, a swirling vortex that beckoned with whispers of untold universes. The world they stepped into was starkly different from the desolate urban decay they had left behind. They found themselves in a dense forest, the air thick with the scent of pine and the sounds of nature. But this was no sanctuary. The undead roamed here too, albeit differently. These zombies were slower, less aggressive, their movements hindered by the vegetation that ensnared their rotting limbs. It was a brief exploration, but it underscored the diversity of the Zombieverse, each universe with its own rules, its own version of the apocalypse. With each subsequent jump, the trio encountered worlds that were eerily familiar yet fundamentally altered. A universe where humanity had taken to the seas, living on fleets of ships to escape the undead on land. Another where survivors had gone underground, building vast networks of tunnels to evade the surface-dwelling hordes. Each universe presented a piece of the puzzle, a clue to the nature of the Zombieverse and the mysterious origin universe. But the journey was not without peril. The portal gun, for all its incredible power, was an imperfect tool. Its energy reserves were finite, and each jump carried the risk of stranding them in a hostile universe with no way back. Moreover, their travels did not go unnoticed. Whispers of their passage through the multiverse reached a malevolent force, a being who saw the portal gun as a means to extend his dominion beyond the confines of his own universe. The zombie overlord, as he came to be known, was a figure of terror and despair in his realm. A cunning intelligence trapped within a decaying form, he commanded legions of the undead, his will imposed upon them like a dark shroud. The overlord's agents, zombies and humans alike, turned by promise or despair, began to hunt for the portal gun, an artifact of unimaginable power in the hands of those seeking to flee the Zombieverse. Alex, Brian and Mara found themselves pursued not just by the undead but by forces that sought to control or destroy the portal gun. Each jump became a race against time, a desperate search for the origin universe while evading capture or death at the hands of the Overlord's minions. It was during a particularly harrowing escape from a universe besieged by an unending night and endless hordes that they stumbled upon a clue. In an abandoned laboratory, much like the one in which they had first conceived the portal gun, they found research notes. The scientist, driven mad by isolation and despair, had theorized the existence of the origin universe, a central node from which the multiverse sprawled like spokes on a wheel. Armed with this new knowledge, the trio refined their search, their resolve hardened by the challenges they had faced. They were no longer just survivors but warriors in a battle for the soul of the multiverse, champions of those trapped in the endless night of the Zombieverse. Their journey through the multiverse maze was more than a quest for home. It was a crusade against the darkness, a search for light in the shadow of apocalypse. And as they prepared for their next jump, the brothers and Mara understood that the path ahead was fraught with danger. But it was a path they must walk, for themselves and for the countless souls still clinging to hope in the vast expanse of the Zombieverse. The pursuit by the zombie overlord cast a long shadow over Alex, Brian and Mara as they continued their journey through the multiverse. Each universe they visited brought them closer to understanding the fabric of the Zombieverse, yet it also drew the Overlord's attention ever nearer. The trio knew that a confrontation was inevitable. The Overlord's desire to possess the portal gun and use it to expand his dominion was clear. They had to be ready. In a universe where the sun never rose, and the cities were nothing more than graveyards of steel and glass, the trio set up a temporary base in the remnants of a library. Amidst the decayed books and shattered hopes of a world long lost to the darkness, they planned their next move. It was here, in the silence of forgotten knowledge, that they first encountered the Overlord's minions, a group of half-rotted creatures that were once human, now nothing more than puppets to his will. The battle was fierce. Alex and Brian, using makeshift weapons and traps designed with their keen understanding of physics and engineering, managed to fend off the attackers. Mara, ever the survivor, fought with a ferocity born of years spent in the apocalypse. But it was the aftermath that shook them to their core. Among the fallen minions they found a device, crudely made but unmistakably similar to their portal gun. The Overlord was not just seeking to capture their device, he was attempting to replicate it. This revelation added urgency to their mission. The trio knew they had to find the origin universe before the Overlord could unleash his hordes upon the multiverse. Their next jump was calculated with this in mind, a desperate gamble to outpace their pursuer. As they navigated through the multiverse, the echoes of the Overlord became a constant threat, his agents appearing with terrifying frequency. Yet it was during these moments of peril that the trio's bond strengthened, their determination hardened by each encounter. Alex's ingenuity, Brian's tactical mind and Mara's survival instincts made them an unstoppable force, a beacon of hope in the shadowed corridors of the Zombieverse. Their travels brought them to a world on the brink of collapse, a universe where the Overlord's influence had begun to seep through. It was here, amidst the chaos of a society tearing itself apart, that they encountered a group of rebels, humans who had managed to resist the Overlord's control. These rebels, led by a woman named Sera, had been fighting a losing battle, their numbers dwindling with each passing day. Sera and her rebels saw in the trio not just allies but saviors. They had heard rumors of the portal gun, of the brothers and Mara, and their quest to find the origin universe. In them, the rebels found a renewed sense of purpose, a reason to continue fighting. Together, they hatched a plan to strike at the heart of the Overlord's operation in this universe, a daring raid to destroy the facility where he was attempting to create his own portal devices. The mission was fraught with danger, the outcome uncertain, but the potential rewards were too great to ignore. The night of the raid was a maelstrom of violence and chaos. Alex, Brian, Mara, Sera and the rebels moved through the shadows, their approach to the facility silent and deadly. Inside, they found not just the machinery for creating portal devices but also captives, individuals from other universes kidnapped by the Overlord's agents to serve as test subjects. The battle that ensued was a testament to the courage and resolve of those who fought. Alex and Brian, using a combination of science and strategy, managed to sabotage the machinery, setting off a chain reaction that would ensure the facility's destruction. Mara and Sera led the fight against the Overlord's minions, a dance of death that left no room for mercy. As they fled the collapsing facility, the captives in tow, the portal gun in Alex's hand pulsed with light, a beacon guiding them to safety. They had won a significant victory, but the war was far from over. The echoes of the Overlord were a constant reminder of the dangers that lay ahead. Yet, in that moment of triumph, as they stood among the rebels and the rescued, the trio knew that they had not just allies but friends. Their journey through the Zombieverse was more than a quest for survival. It was a fight for the soul of the multiverse, a battle against the darkness that sought to consume it all. The path to the origin universe lay open before them, the final piece of the puzzle within reach. But the shadow of the Overlord loomed large, his wrath a storm on the horizon. Alex, Brian and Mara, together with their new allies, prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead, their resolve unbreakable, their spirits unyielding. In the wake of their audacious assault on the Overlord's portal device manufacturing facility, Alex, Brian and Mara, alongside Sera and her band of rebels, found themselves not just as fleeting allies, but as a unified front against the encroaching darkness. The destruction of the facility was more than a tactical victory. It was a declaration of resistance, a beacon of defiance in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. The compound that Sera's rebels called home, a labyrinthine network of underground bunkers and repurposed ruins, became a crucible for this newfound alliance. Here, in the bowels of a world teetering on the edge of oblivion, the bonds forged in battle were tempered by shared purpose and mutual respect. Alex and Brian, once mere survivors thrust into the maelstrom of the Zombieverse, had grown into leaders in their own right. Their scientific acumen, once dedicated to the pursuit of academic accolades, now served a higher purpose, the salvation of not just their own lives but the lives of all those caught in the crossfire of the Overlord's ambition. Mara, with her unyielding spirit and survivalist wisdom, became the linchpin of the group, her guidance and insights invaluable in the planning of their next, most critical move. And Sera, whose leadership had kept the flame of rebellion alive against overwhelming darkness, found in her new allies a renewed hope for victory, a chance to turn the tide once and for all. In the days that followed the raid, the compound buzzed with activity. Workshops and labs, once silent, now thrummed with the energy of invention and innovation. Alex and Brian worked tirelessly, refining the portal gun with enhancements inspired by the technology they had encountered across the multiverse. Every adjustment, every modification was guided by a singular goal, to pinpoint the origin universe and ensure their passage to it. The rebels, for their part, contributed their knowledge of the Overlord's operations, intelligence gathered through hard-won battles and sacrifices. Together they pieced together a map of the multiverse, a guide through the labyrinth of realities that stood between them and their ultimate destination. But it was not all preparation and planning. In the quiet moments, amidst the chaos of their shared endeavor, the group found solace in each other's company. Stories were shared, laughter echoed through the halls, and amidst the ruins of a world lost to darkness, a semblance of normalcy, of humanity, persevered. The night before their scheduled departure to the origin universe, the compound held a gathering not unlike a vigil, a moment of calm before the storm. Alex, Brian, Mara, and Sera stood before their assembled allies, their faces etched with determination and resolve. "We started this journey as strangers," Alex began, his voice steady, "but we stand here now as family. Tomorrow, we take the fight to the Overlord's doorstep. We do this not just for ourselves but for all those who have suffered under his tyranny." Brian stepped forward, his gaze sweeping over the crowd. "The portal gun is ready. The path to the origin universe is clear. But make no mistake, this will be the hardest fight of our lives. We need every one of you ready for what comes next." Mara's voice, when she spoke, carried the weight of experience, of battles fought and won. "We've seen darkness like you wouldn't believe, but we've also seen hope, hope that we carry with us. Tomorrow, we fight for a future free from the Overlord's shadow." And Sera, her eyes alight with the fire of rebellion, concluded, "Tonight we stand together, united in purpose. Tomorrow, we strike a blow for freedom, for ourselves, for our worlds, for the multiverse." The gathering dispersed, leaving the leaders to their thoughts. The night was long, filled with anticipation and the weight of the impending confrontation. But amidst the uncertainty, one thing was clear. They were ready. Ready to face the Overlord, ready to navigate the final stretch of the multiverse maze, and ready to reclaim their future. As dawn broke, casting a pale light over the compound, Alex, Brian, Mara and Sera stepped through the portal, their hearts set on the origin universe, their spirits buoyed by the support of their allies. The final chapter of their journey was about to unfold, a chapter that would decide the fate of the multiverse and their place within it. The journey to the origin universe was marked not by the familiar turbulence of their previous travels but by a profound silence, a calm before the storm that awaited them. Alex, Brian, Mara and Sera emerged from the portal into a world that was paradoxically both alien and familiar. This was the origin universe, the core from which all other realities in the Zombieverse sprouted like branches from a twisted tree. The landscape before them was surreal, a cityscape where the architecture defied the laws of physics. Buildings bending and twisting into impossible shapes, a visual representation of the universe's central role in the multiverse. The air was charged with energy, the sky a kaleidoscope of colors as if reflecting the multitude of universes it birthed. But this beauty was marred by the scars of conflict. The Overlord's influence had reached even here, his agents sowing chaos, attempting to seize control of the universe's unique properties. The battle for the origin universe was already underway, a struggle that would determine the fate of the multiverse. The group wasted no time. Using the intel gathered from their allies and the knowledge accrued from their travels, they set about locating the nexus point, the heart of the origin universe, where they could recalibrate the portal gun to not only send them home but also sever the Overlord's access to the other universes. Their progress through the city was hindered by skirmishes with the Overlord's forces, each encounter more dangerous than the last. But Alex and Brian's inventions, coupled with Mara and Sera's combat prowess, allowed them to navigate these obstacles with a determination fueled by the knowledge that failure was not an option. The nexus point, when they finally reached it, was a structure that defied description, its form constantly shifting, a physical manifestation of the universe's connection to its multiversal offspring. Here, at the heart of everything, they began the complex process of recalibrating the portal gun, a task that required all their skill and focus. As they worked, the Overlord himself appeared, his form a towering figure of decay and malice. The final confrontation was at hand, a battle that would decide the fate of countless worlds. The fight was epic, a clash of wills and power that raged through the shifting landscape of the origin universe. Alex and Brian, using every trick and device at their disposal, fought alongside Mara and Sera with a ferocity born of desperation and hope. The Overlord, for all his power, found himself challenged like never before, facing opponents who, though lesser in might, possessed an indomitable spirit. In the end, it was the portal gun, the object of so much strife, that turned the tide. With the recalibration complete, Alex and Brian activated the device, unleashing a surge of energy that enveloped the Overlord, severing his connection to the multiverse and banishing him to a realm from which there was no return. The nexus point stabilized, the architecture of the city settling into forms that, while still extraordinary, obeyed the rules of reality. The origin universe was safe, its connection to the other universes secured against misuse. As the dust settled, the group took a moment to reflect on their journey, the trials they had faced, and the bonds they had formed. The portal gun, now recalibrated, was ready to take them home, but the decision to leave was bittersweet. They had become more than allies, they were family, united by a shared ordeal that had changed them all. With heavy hearts but hopeful spirits, Alex, Brian, Mara and Sera stepped through the portal one last time, leaving the origin universe behind but carrying with them the memories of their incredible journey. They emerged in their own world, the familiar surroundings of New Haven a stark contrast to the wonders and horrors of the Zombieverse. The science fair, the event that had started it all, seemed like a lifetime ago, a quaint memory from a simpler time. But they had returned changed. They had seen what lay beyond the veil of their reality, had fought for the fate of the multiverse, and had emerged victorious. The challenges they would face here, in their home universe, seemed manageable by comparison, yet they knew they would approach them with the same courage and determination that had seen them through their journey. The portal gun, its purpose fulfilled, was locked away, a relic of their adventure and a reminder of the responsibilities that came with knowledge and power. Alex, Brian, Mara and Sera, their bond unbreakable, looked to the future with a new perspective, ready to face whatever challenges it might bring, together. As they walked away from the lab, their laughter echoed in the air, a sound full of hope and promise. The adventure was over, but the story of their journey through the Zombieverse would live on. a testament to the power of courage, friendship, and the unyielding human spirit. Chapter 8. Return to the beginning. The Turner brothers, along with Mara and Sera, found themselves back in the familiar surroundings of their New Haven neighborhood. The adrenaline of their epic journey through the Zombieverse slowly ebbing away, replaced by a surreal sense of normalcy. The contrast was jarring. Mere hours ago they were fighting for the fate of the multiverse, and now they stood in the quiet of their own backyard, the sounds of suburban life carrying on as if nothing had changed. The aftermath of their adventure was a time of reflection and readjustment. For Alex and Brian, returning to their high school routine was a challenge. The mundane tasks of assignments and exams pale in comparison to the life-and-death decisions they had faced in the Zombieverse. Yet they found solace in the shared knowledge of what they had accomplished, a secret bond that set them apart from their peers. Mara and Sera, having decided to stay in this universe, embarked on their own journey of adaptation. Mara, with her survivalist skills, found a new purpose in working with emergency preparedness organizations, using her experiences to help others prepare for crises. Sera, with her leadership abilities honed in rebellion, became involved in community organizing, channeling her drive for change into social activism. The portal gun, now deactivated and secured in the Turner's basement lab, stood as a silent reminder of their journey. It was a bittersweet memento, representing both the incredible adventure they had shared and the dangers of unchecked curiosity. The decision to lock it away was mutual, born from the understanding that some doors, once opened, could lead to paths best left untraveled. As weeks turned into months, the impact of their journey on their personal growth became evident. Alex, once driven by a thirst for recognition, now found satisfaction in the pursuit of knowledge for its own sake, his ambitions tempered by the wisdom gained from their experiences. Brian, whose practicality had always been his guiding principle, embraced a newfound creativity, inspired by the challenges they had overcome, and the infinite possibilities the multiverse represented. Mara and Sera, now integral parts of the Turner family, brought new perspectives to their shared lives. Their experiences in the Zombieverse, vastly different yet equally transformative, enriched the group's understanding of resilience, hope, and the importance of fighting for a better future. The science fair, which had been the catalyst for their adventure, came and went without fanfare. The brothers submitted a project on theoretical physics, a nod to their journey that only they could fully appreciate. It won accolades, but the recognition paled in comparison to the knowledge that they had saved not just one universe, but many. In the quiet moments, when the memories of their adventure flooded back, the group found comfort in each other's company. They shared stories, laughed at the close calls, and pondered the what-ifs. But more than anything, they looked forward to the future, to the possibilities that lay ahead. Their journey through the Zombieverse had changed them in ways they were still discovering. It had taught them about the strength of the human spirit, the power of friendship, and the importance of facing the unknown with courage and hope. As they gathered one evening looking up at the stars, the universe seemed a little less mysterious, a little more like home. They knew that their adventure was just one story in the vast tapestry of the multiverse, but it was their story, a testament to their journey beyond the portal. And while the portal gun remained locked away, the lessons it had taught them, the bonds it had forged, and the memories it had created were theirs to keep, guiding lights for whatever paths they would choose to walk in the future. Months had passed since the Turner brothers, Mara and Sera, returned from their journey through the Zombieverse. The extraordinary experiences they shared had become the foundation of a deep, unbreakable bond, a connection that transcended the ordinary ties of friendship and family. As they adapted to their regular lives, the impact of their journey manifested in subtle yet profound ways, influencing not just their personal paths, but also their contributions to the world around them. Alex, once driven by a desire to be recognized as a genius, found a new purpose in education. He began volunteering at local schools, sharing his passion for science in a way that inspired curiosity and wonder in his students. The adventure through the Zombieverse had taught him the value of knowledge as a tool for empowerment, a lesson he was eager to pass on to the next generation. Brian, whose practical skills had often been overshadowed by his brother's bold ideas, emerged from their journey with a newfound confidence in his abilities. He started a community workshop, a space where people of all ages could come to learn, invent, and explore the practical applications of science. It was his way of ensuring that the spirit of innovation and resilience they had relied on in the Zombieverse would continue to thrive. Mara, with her survivalist expertise, became a leading voice in disaster preparedness, her insights shaped by the challenges they had faced in countless apocalyptic worlds. She wrote articles, gave talks, and led workshops, all aimed at empowering individuals and communities to be resilient in the face of crises. Her experiences in the Zombieverse had shown her the importance of preparation, but also the strength of the human spirit to survive and adapt. Sera, inspired by the rebellion she had led in her own universe, became involved in advocacy and social justice, using her leadership skills to effect change. She worked with local organizations to address issues of inequality and environmental sustainability, driven by a belief in the potential for collective action to create a better future. Her journey through the Zombieverse had reinforced her conviction that even in the darkest times, hope could be a powerful force for change. As they moved forward, the legacy of their adventure through the Zombieverse became a guiding light in their efforts to make a difference. The knowledge that there were infinite worlds, each with its own challenges and triumphs, broadened their perspective, inspiring them to approach problems with creativity and empathy. Their story, though known only to a few, became a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, a small group of determined individuals could change the course of the multiverse. It was a testament to the power of friendship, courage, and the indomitable human spirit. As they gathered one evening, reminiscing about their journey, the conversation inevitably turned to the future. The portal gun, now a relic of their past, remained locked away, but the possibility of new adventures always lingered on the horizon. "We've seen what's out there, the good and the bad," Alex mused. "Who knows what other challenges the multiverse holds? But whatever comes, we'll face it together," Brian added, a sentiment echoed by Mara and Sera. Their journey through the Zombieverse had ended, but it had opened their eyes to the vast possibilities of the multiverse. They knew that their adventure was just one of many stories unfolding across countless realities, each interconnected in the grand tapestry of existence. As they looked up at the stars, the universe no longer seemed like a vast, unknowable expanse, but rather a place of endless possibilities, a reminder of their journey and the adventures that might yet come. They had returned from the Zombieverse changed, their lives enriched by the experience, ready to face the future with open hearts and open minds, knowing that beyond the portal, the journey was far from over.